be solving absolute value inequalities. We're going to work some more with this. So we know that as we read from left to right, less than or less than and equal to is an and inequality. Greater than or equal to is an or. So when you have them going in opposite directions. All right. Can we do this one? Is this 466? Yeah. Okay. All right. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be solving these and we're going to be graphing them now. All right. So look at this. Is this going to be a and or an or statement? Okay. If you go back and look, so if it's pointed to the left, right? It's an and statement. So an and statement means our graphs should be coming together, correct? Well, we're still going to come up with our two cases. We're going to go x, and this time we're going to go less than 4, greater than negative 4. We want to make it an and statement, so we're going to make it a 1 inequality. Does that make sense? So we know that solid at 4 and negative 4, and because it's an and statement, all of our graphs are inside. Our shading is inside. So the first thing you want to identify, and or, and then what kind of point are we going to use, open or solid. All right, what about this next one? And or an or statement. This is an or. So when we do our two cases, x is greater than or equal to 6, or x is less than or equal to what? Yeah, remember our two cases means we flip the inequalities and we change the sign. All right, so in this case, we have, let's do it and then you switch it. Yeah, when you do your second case, you switch the direction of your inequality. So here, if you look, the sign is going, the bigger area is toward the x. So we do the second case, the bigger area is going to be toward the number this time. But we change the sign of the number also. Yep. So this is solid again to the right and solid and to the left. All right. So and or. If it goes to the left, it's and. If it goes to the right, initially it's an or. Open or closed? Good. Two cases. If this is an and statement, it means u falls between 3.5 and negative 3.5. See, we're changing the direction when we do the second one. Look at the direction that the opening is. You see, we're still doing it. We're just writing it as an and statement, as an and inequality. You can. That's fine, as long as you remember. So 3.5 open, negative 3.5 open, arrows, I number lines, and then I'm going away. No, I'm going towards each other. So I'm going to be in between. And or for the next one. Or. Open or closed? Open, right? Doesn't have that equal sign on there. Okay, so we're looking at 2/3 and we're looking at negative 2/3. So we know V is greater than 2/3 or V is less than negative 2/3. Open to the left, open to the right. If it was an or statement, though, Bernie, and we have them going towards each other, then it would be all reals.
Okay.
Okay.
And is there any all real numbers for the ands or no?
Not usually, because the and is an overlap.
Okay, so they stay inside.
Mm-hmm. All right, this one. All right, and or. Or, so we're going to write our two cases. That means x minus 5 is greater than or equal to 7, or I going to write now? Less than or equal to negative 7, exactly. So we, well, not yet. Now we do. When we're trying to solve, to graph, now we go back and we solve our inequality statements. So x is greater than or equal to 12, or x is less than or equal to negative 2. So here's our number line, negative 2 and positive 12, both of which have solid circles on them. And it is greater than 12 and less than negative 2. All right, you do this one. Decide if it's an and or an or. Set up your cases to solve, and then graph it. How do we do? Does it look like yours? Should have been an and statement. So I set up my inequality right away like an and statement. And then I went through solving, which is what we did yesterday. And then I graphed it. Anybody got a question? All right. What do I need to do first here? Isolate it. Okay. All right, now, and or an or. It's an and it's open. So we're going to come up with our two cases. Negative 4x minus 5 less than 6 greater than. So that means when we add 5, we get negative 1 less than negative 4x less than 11. Is that right? And then we divide by negative 4. It switches, you're right. So now, you could. Sure, you could. So now x is going to be greater than what? Negative 11 fourths. And x is less than 1/4. Is that right? So here's negative 11 fourths, and here's positive 1/4, and we are open. This is supposed to be an and statement. Let's see if we get it. Greater than negative 11 fourths, less than this. So does it work? If it didn't work, what would our answer be? No solution. Yeah. Rose? No. Yeah. It was supposed to be an and statement when we isolated it. If it went in opposite directions, then it would be a no solution.
Okay.
Because nothing is going to satisfy both sides of that inequality.
So I have a question about the statements. So are our statements what share?
It means, in other words, I can either satisfy one of the inequalities or the other inequalities, but I don't have to solve. I don't have to satisfy both of them at the same time. There isn't. I don't have to find a number that's going to be between two values. It's either going to be greater than one or less than the other. It's an and. All right, you do this one. do you think? Are we on the same page? Looks good? This is 1/5. There we go. Okay, questions? Let's skip the next one. Just out of curiosity, and or. Okay. And let's just do this last one. All right, work on this last one all on your own. Let's see what we get. All right, check your work. How does your work check to mine? Pretty consistent? Anybody have any questions? Mallory?
Why is the sign for the second element
So remember, this is our original and this is our second case. And when we do our second case, we do two things. We change the direction and we change the sign. You've always got to do two things when you come up with your second case. So write yourself a big note.
The negative one's the one where you flip the sign.
Excuse me?
The negative one's the one.
It's the one wherever you're changing the sign. So I don't want to say the negative one. Right. It started with the 42 negative, then I would change the sign for the positive. So that, yeah, but as we get more abstract and we deal with letters, then we don't want to think about that so much as negative and positive. Okay? All right, so from the book, you have some things to do.